everyone, and welcome to Beginnings, the show that asks, where do creative people come from? My name is Andy. I'm the host of the show and a writer and performer based in Los Angeles, California. How is everyone doing look, if you're outside of America and listening to this, maybe you are just looking in with derisiveness, of course, this is what they get if you're here in America listening to this. Maybe you are like me and are bewildered by how fast the authoritarian bear trap clasped down on all of our ankles. It's not super great. That's an understatement. I hope you all are taking care of yourselves, taking care of your mental health, watching good films, listening to good music, reading good literature in order to counteract the increasing meaninglessness of everyday life. Do whatever you can to add meaning into your own life. And that's Andy's quick words of wisdom at the top of the Beginnings introduction for this week. And boy, what an episode do I have for you today, because today I am talking to Jen Bender of the band Cusp. And if you don't know who Jen is or who Cusp is, and I hope you, after this episode, if you don't, you go check them out because they're great. I'm going to read you her bio right now. Originally from Long Island, musician Jen Bender and her bandmates formed Cusp a little over 5 years ago in Rochester before moving to Chicago in 2022. A year later, they released their first album, You Can Do It All, followed by the Thanks So Much EP in 2024, and their latest, What I Want Doesn't Want Me Back, which came out in October last year. It was one of my favorite albums of 2025. I was randomly sent this album, and just so you know, I get sent a lot of albums. I listen to all of them. Most of them do not resonate. This, I listened to it, and I was waking up with their songs in my head. That's how much I love this album, how much it got into my brain. And it turns out Jen and I have a lot in common. I guess both being Jewish. We talk about that, about growing up in somewhat similar circumstances, even though she grew up in Long Island. I'm from Pennsylvania. My family is from New York. My extended relatives live in Long Island. There was a lot there that resonated with me. So I hope you enjoy this episode. It was a delight to talk to Jen. Ooh, coming up next week, 16th anniversary. Got a fun guest. And then, I just talked to Juliana Barwick and Mary Lattimore separately. 2 separate episodes, both wonderful. I talked to the Lisas from the band Cub, and we got into it. It was such a delight talking to them. So stay tuned for those episodes. But for now, let's talk to Jen. Are you the type of person who you're comfortable in, like, just jumping into some kind of situation and seeing how it goes?
I think usually, yeah, I think I'm probably more like that than someone who would say, no, I'm not going to do that. Especially when it comes to the band, just because you close a lot of doors for yourself if you say no. Like, yeah, I saw this and I was like, yeah.
But like, okay, so here's the thing though. Okay. Is it because you don't think to, and now I know this is not true because you said before we started recording that you did look into who I was. Because it's even, I mean, this is less dangerous, but like, you know, when I used to do this in person and someone would have to come to like our place and they're like, wait, what am I doing? I mean, people just go to strangers' houses for podcasts. That's insane.
That's different. Well, also my friends were joking about that. They're like, are you going to a basement? And I was like, no, it's just, I don't think it's like that. But yeah, if we're like, go to this basement, I think that my street sense would probably kick in a bit more there. So I guess I'll modify my answer to your question. I think I'll use my best judgment.
Oh, that's great. Yes, sure. If you go to a basement to record a podcast and you see like plastic lining the walls, that's probably a good idea.
Too late. At that point, it's too late. If you see the plastic, like, I think it's over.
Yeah. So yeah. You're like, I'm about to be Dextered.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the thing I was curious about. I was about to ask you in general. aside from being on this show, in general, are you someone who like jumps into things just because you're like, yeah, let's just see what happens? Or are you someone who doesn't like to do a lot of research in general prior to that thing?
That's a good question. I think I want to think I'm someone who's very more of the former and like more adventurous. And in some I think I am sometimes, but in reality, I am probably more cautious than I would want to be. I don't think being cautious is a bad thing, but especially in this industry, I think there's a lot of like Galen, who's my partner and in the band, is referred to it as like embracing the chaos. He's like, you need to embrace the chaos a little bit because sometimes I'm like, I need things to be a certain way and do the research beforehand. So I'm probably more of the latter, honestly.
I'm someone who like, there's so much going on both inside my brain and like I'm doing 10 million different things because to make a living in entertainment, you have to do 10 million different things, right?
Yep.
So I'm jumping from one thing to the next and I am then jumping into this new thing. I'm just like, wait, what am I doing here? Oh, I should have like looked at, I'm in this meeting with this person. I should have looked up who the fuck they are and like what they're doing. And now I'm just like pitching them a project and I have no idea if they even want it or what's going on or like, why am I here? Like that kind of thing. But it's purely, if I had my druthers and I slowed down for half a second, I would probably do a lot more research and like figure things out more instead of jumping into them. It's by accident.
Which is fine because it's, excitement is nice and energy is nice. But yeah, I think that I like to try to strike the balance of that and like preparation. And I'm like that in everything too. It's not just entertainment stuff. It's like work stuff, life stuff. Yeah.
Is that something that is historical for you? Like it goes back all the way, like you were always like this? Or is this more something like that's developed in adulthood?
I think it's lifelong. And again, I think I have always wanted to be the former and just be the like throw caution to the wind or like jump head first and ask questions later. But I think it's been pretty historical. Like, well, I'm gonna be cautious and prepared.
Okay, so where's that coming from?
I was wondering if you were gonna ask some therapeutic type questions based on that category. That the theme of the podcast, because like, okay, childhood beginnings, like there's gonna be some like therapy stuff going on.
Yeah,
here.
not on purpose, not like to.
It was just fine. It's interesting.
No, just I asked that because I am also like as a very cautious person, as someone who generally has to engineer, like I don't make decisions. I mean, it's different now that I'm an adult and I've been through therapy, all that kind of shit, right? But like when I was younger, I couldn't just make a decision. I had to like let either, like, let's say it's a relationship. I knew it was going south, but I'm like, well, I don't want to do the breaking up. I'll just wait for her to do the breaking up. Or like I didn't want to be in grad school, so I wanted to be in New York doing comedy. So instead of making that choice, I just didn't follow the directions on what they wanted me to do, and eventually they kicked me out. I wrote papers about what I wanted to write about instead of what they told me to write about.
That's interesting because I think that I relate to that. I resonate with that because I think decision fatigue has plagued me too. And you saying that about grad school, I had similar experience with grad school too. I made it like 1 month into grad school, and then I was like, no. Like,
wait, what happened?
Like kind of what you're describing, like sort of like doing it, getting in and starting it because I don't know if this is true for you, but I felt like that was like, this is the next logical life step. And then really like asking myself, well, what do I want to do? Like, what do I want to do? And do I lock myself into a path, a very expensive path, of going to grad school? And then I just emailed the professors like, I'm sorry. Never showed back up, which you shouldn't do. You should withdraw for real, because I found out later you have to actually withdraw and not just email them like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I need more information about this. What were you going to grad school for?
I started it was a social work program.
Oh, wow. Oh, like
Yeah.
for real. Sorry, I was a philosophy professor, so
Oh,
I will
cool.
rank social work and becoming a social worker as higher than a philosophy professor in this hierarchy in
Then
my brain.
you don't have to do that.
No, I'll do it. It's a real thing that, well, I think philosophy is important in the same way that I think writing a sitcom or doing a podcast is quote unquote helpful to people. It gives them some distraction. Actually doing social work and actually like getting, actually helping people cope and live in this awful world that we live in. I'm going to say better. But anyway,
Thank you.
so you said that was the quote unquote next logical step, right? Did
Hmm.
you want to do that at all, or were you reacting to someone else's wants and desires for your life?
Yeah. See, I knew you were gonna, I told you the big questions. I think it's both. I think, well, I didn't go to, I did not go to school for that in my undergrad. I went for music. So when I was thinking of, and sociology, not quite social work, but like in the social sciences. And I knew that I had a desire to do something that I thought would be helpful, and I couldn't quite make the connection that like I think music could be that thing, just like you just said, like something like a podcast or a sitcom does help people. It helps people cope with the world in a different way
Yeah.
than social works. But was going to grad school someone else's desire or mine. I think probably I was projecting that it was somebody else's desire, like my parents or my family, but I think they actually just want me to be happy. So I think that's the when you get to be an adult and you realize that, and then it's like, oh, you could be a little more free.
Yeah. Okay. But when you say projecting,
Hmm.
the actual decision, were you like just not choosing for yourself what you really
Hmm.
wanted? Like, I guess where was it? Because it's a pretty big decision, and
Hmm.
even if you're getting a scholarship, like I got a scholarship, like it's still like money's coming from somewhere, and it's not going to someone else then, and so there's some responsibility there. So like, where like was that feeling coming from?
I think, well, the decision and the responsibility, like the decision to go, I felt like that was coming from maybe I thought that that would make me a more accomplished or legitimate person if I received that next level of education. And maybe I thought that I could meet some sort of esteem in my family's eyes or my friends' eyes if I,
Hmm.
went to grad school right after undergrad. The decision to leave was for myself, and I had support in it from my family and loved ones. So it wasn't like it was difficult in that way. It was difficult because I thought that I failed because I didn't like I wasn't doing it for that long.
Uh-huh.
But it felt wrong very quickly. And I think at the very least, even then, this was a while ago, um, I like understood the gut feeling. Like this is wrong. If it's gonna keep feeling wrong, it's only gonna get more pricey, and it's only gonna maybe feel like I'm more locked into something that I don't actually want to do. So the decision to leave did genuinely come from myself.
I gotta say, I mean, how old are you? So you said right after college. So you're like what, 23, maybe 22 at this time?
Mhm. At that time, yeah.
You got a lot of self knowledge at that point.
Thank thank you. Looking back, I'm like, I don't know if that feels true, but maybe enough to like get where I am now, and more all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I was just dumb. I was not dumb, not stupid, like not ignorant, but like no self knowledge, just
Hmm.
reacting to people and reacting to with a vague feeling of like moving in a certain direction. You know what I was like? I was like one of those multicellular creatures that kind of just reacts to light. It's just like a light. It's like pre-mammal, pre-eye kind of things that just like the stuff that eventually formed into mammals with eyes, right? Where just like there's a light source in the distance and it just kind of like moves in that
Mm.
direction without it doesn't have a brain, so it doesn't know why it's moving that direction. It just is. So anyway, that was
Damn.
me.
Damn. Well, it sounds like I think that if that's how you felt that time, I hope that now you feel like you're like a fully formed mammal doing the thing, making decisions.
Yeah, 12 years of therapy and like, having to like be in the world, especially in the 21st century. Look, there's still problems, but I'm dealing with those.
Everyone's got them.
I guess the question I have though, well, let me start with this one.
Okay.
Curious. Last name Bender. I have very good friends with last name of Bender. Went to my temple, so
I knew you were gonna ask, and I was gonna ask you this too.
What were you gonna ask? What were you gonna?
Are you Jewish, and is it a cultural thing?
Well, there we go.
There we go. Okay. Let's go. Gloves are coming off. Because like you were asking it, and like I was like, can I say? Because like it's part of it. But I was like, can I say that? I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I'm Jewish.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
Yeah, brother, I went ahead of bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I got a couple taluses back home. So, okay, but I guess this is what I'm trying to figure out is that, and you're younger than me, so maybe things have changed, but like my parents had very specific wants. Well, not specific. They had general wants, but those were pretty strong. And while they did not, there was no forcing and there was no even coercion or anything like that. They were pretty open and they've said whatever you want to do as long as it makes you happy. With their, like, I had enough intuition to know that they didn't really mean that. Like, they do want me to be happy, right? And whatever I was doing, but they also wanted somewhat like they wanted a doctor or a lawyer, that kind of thing.
And I think that it's okay to say, like, I think that feels pretty general in like Jewish culture, but I want to say I do honestly feel like my parents, like, they said it and I do believe them. I think that I projected that feeling, maybe, like, I thought that maybe they were just saying it, and at a certain point I think they kind of were like, you just need to trust that we're being honest with you, like, we mean that, like, we're proud of you, and like, if you are happy and healthy, like, that's what's important. It also helps that my dad is a musician, so I think that is a piece of the puzzle that has contributed to sort of their feelings about it. But I do, it's both. It's like it's part of the culture, it's a cultural thing, but we're also very, like, we're not involved really in that part of our lives, any of us in my family at this point. So maybe that has something to do with it too.
What could have been going on through the 21st century that might make one not feel connected to their Judaism?
Yeah, I mean, well, many things, right? And obviously, I don't know. I think it's been a long time, though. I think that, like, we were involved in temple when I was younger. My sister and I went to Hebrew school. We both had bat mitzvahs. And then I think for like private reasons for all of us, and I won't speak on my family's behalf, but like, we all just sort of moved, I think, away. We obviously, it's like, there's part of it you can't move away from. It's like,
Right.
It's who you are. But the religious aspect of it, we've all kind of moved away from in our adult lives.
Did you ever find meaning in it, like when you were younger?
I think when I was really young, like a young kid, I did, because I thought that it was tied to everything that was happening in my world. Like, if something bad happened, I was like, oh, it's because I didn't follow this thing, or because if something good happened, it's because that I, like, prayed to the Shema at night or whatever. But like, oh my God. But I think that's also just a personality thing, like a nervous kid thing. But that only was when I was really young. I can't say that I really, after being a teenager and on, not really.
Yeah. Like, I always found meaning in the community, and I found meaning in the moral project of Judaism, like the actual core of it, at least what I believe is the core of it. But like I think Larry David said this once, where he's just like, yeah, I get it. God is great. Like, it's that kind of stuff where I was just like sitting there in time, I'm just like, is this all we're doing? We're just like, yeah, God is great. for like 45 minutes. We're Reformed Jews, so 45 minutes.
Except on the high holidays, which was a fucking nightmare.
Fucking interminable.
It was so long. But then even then I was like, I don't really care. And I was like, does that make me a bad person? Like, and then the answer is no.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay. And if it does mean something for you, that's fine also. Like, I'm not disparaging it, but yeah, no. I did not find like a ton of meaning in it after a certain point, and found meaning in other things, and have felt like a lot of like the spiritual feelings that I've had in that time since then have actually been more related to music than they've been to religion in any sort of way.
What do you mean?
I think like one time we went on a trip in Temple. We went to, I can't remember exactly where, but we were on a trip in New York City, and we went to a church as part of that trip, and there was a choir singing in that church, and it was a very moving experience to hear the choir, and I'm like a longtime choir kid, and I was like, is this feeling that I'm experiencing, is this what the feeling of having a spiritual moment is? Like, feeling connected to something that's bigger than you, feeling moved. Like, that's that. In that moment I was like, okay, this feels like something. Can't say that I've really ever felt that in like a service, or like, yeah, at Long Island bat mitzvahs were a situation. Where are you from?
I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania, but my family's from New York, so I have been
vibe.
to plenty of Long Island bar and bat mitzvahs.
So you know the vibe. Do you want to guess what my this is so funny because my roommate was like, you're going to talk about your bat mitzvah theme on this podcast tomorrow. I was like, how would that possibly come up? But here we are. Do you want to guess what my theme was?
Oh gosh. You're so much younger than me. I'm not. Were you born in the 90s?
Yeah, I'm 29.
Okay. So then somewhere in the mid-aughts would have been your bat mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grasping. I cannot think of a single like pop culture thing that might be, because like my cousins, they would be like Star Wars was like one of their bar mitzvahs, and there was
That's
like a cutout of like Jabba or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's the vibe. Mine was Jen's concert tour.
Jem?
Jen, my name.
Oh, Jen. Sorry, Jem. Do you remember? It was a cartoon, I think, in the 80s.
Yes, and I know that because Cusp used to be called Gem. Like, before we even put music out, that was the name of the band in Rochester. And then we were gonna put out our first EP, and our friend who was putting it out for us was like, "This is the name of this cartoon, and also this famous singer who also has that name. So maybe pick something else." So we picked Cusp. But that's why I know about that cartoon also.
So wait, when you say concert tour, right? What were you listening to at the time? Like, what did you want to make music? Like, what was going on?
Oh yeah, always. But I did piano, and I was a choir kid. And then like around that time, that like tween teen time, is when I started, like, I heard Green Day, and I was like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. And like My Chemical Romance, and I was starting to get more into like bands, and starting to think about how cool it was to be in a band and to write music. I hadn't quite gotten there yet, but I'd been a musician, and to that point, because I started piano when I was very, very young. And so, yeah, it was Jen's concert tour, because they said, what do you want your theme to be? And I said, music. And then each table was a different like genre, and there was like a little cutout of me on each table as the different genres. It was very cringe. It was so cringe. I have the video. I saw it recently, and I actually physically can't watch this. It takes you back. Tough time.
One time when my wife, well, I mean, she was my girlfriend at the time, maybe even fiance, I don't know. We were visiting my parents in Pennsylvania, and they pulled out my bar mitzvah video to show her, and I went to a different room. I'm just I can't watch this. But she's like, oh, I could tell that this is what you wanted to do, because you're there giving like the speech, and I'm like adjusting the microphone as if like I'm on stage doing stand-up or something like that. My wife's like, oh, obviously this is what you could see it in embryo there. And so like there's something like you could see an embryo, at least some kind of like maybe you don't always follow it out, but there's some, I don't think my cousin is a Jedi Knight or whatever, but there's some want or desire hidden in the bar mitzvah theme. I mean, I didn't have a theme. I also think this, and maybe it's like Long Island has always seemed to had themes. And I think it's a function of class, maybe. Whereas, like, I grew up pretty middle class. We didn't do themes.
Yeah, it was definitely like the party was the whole thing. It's like there's probably kids that I grew up with that are still connected to the culture and the religion, but I think the majority, if you ask the majority of people now who went through that, they would be like, well, it was for the party. It was because everyone was having a party and a theme. And I have heard that too, that like Long Island is a particular like hotbed for bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah themes. And then you got like the dumb like t-shirts that like they're like not useful because it's like Jordan's like basketball bash 2008. It's like you're never gonna wear that in normal life. But actually though, maybe.
Great to sleep in. Great to sleep in. Also, you might, if you do something like if you're in a band, right? Could be a kitschy, fun thing to wear on stage, right?
For some.
I'm just saying. I had a friend of mine gave me a shirt. It was the Ninja Turtles, but with Hebrew on it. And at one point, when it didn't feel awful to wear something like that, it was like a kind of kitschy, fun thing to wear on stage.
Okay. I don't know if I still have. Mine were boring. It was just like a gray sweatshirt that said Jen's concert tour, which is like, well, I guess that could be kind of applicable. On stage.
I had like boxers. I mean, they were giant, so I wore them as like sleep things. But like boxers, I think had like Steph's bat mitzvah written on them or something like that.
It's kind of odd to be giving children underwear as a gift. Actually, no, never mind. It's fine.
It wasn't revealing.
It's above board.
I would call them bloomers if I was in my 90s.
Okay.
Wait, what part of Long Island? I'm assuming this is the like Nassau County area and not like far over.
Not that far over. Suffolk County, but like not too far in. Like Huntington area, Dix Hills. Wait.
Yes. Oh, I know Huntington. My aunt and my cousins lived there. My aunt had a pet store in Huntington up until she retired.
What store?
I don't know. There were a bunch of fish. I would
like in the village, in like Huntington Village,
in a strip mall. That's all I can remember. I was a
pet store.
I was a child mostly when I would visit them. But yes, I know Huntington.
Cool.
Yeah. So middle kind of
middle.
Ish. So outside of the pet store, that's all I knew. Like, what was it like growing up there? Pretty normal suburban.
Suburban for sure. I don't know if I like, or my sister or my family necessarily like fit in super well. Like I didn't love growing up. There was a lot that was great about it. I had a very like easy, nice childhood, all things considered. Personality wise, I don't know if it was like the best fit. I didn't really feel like I found like people I was comfortable with until I grew up and went to college upstate, which I think is like that might also just be like a child teenage thing and not a symptom of growing up on Long Island. But I wouldn't live there now.
Sure. Yes. I keep saying on these episodes, love growing up in Pennsylvania. Don't want to ever go back if I don't have to.
Yeah.
The thing I'm trying to figure out though is, did you want to belong? Was there a desire to belong? Or were you okay with, yeah, I'm fine?
I think yes and no, because I think there was like the part that maybe I would say looking back is like the cringe part, or the part where I was like, oh God, I was being difficult, of being like, no, I don't want to. Like, I want to be cool. And like, I was like trying to be a scene kid, but it was just like, I did not have it in me. I like couldn't take it. I couldn't commit all the way. So I was like a half scene kid, half just normal, which I think maybe it would have been even cooler to kind of like go all the way with it and be like a true scene kid. But so there was that part of me that was like wanting to rebel against fitting in, but I think there was like anybody, like wanting to fit in somewhere, even if it wasn't the norm or the main group of people, like finding a core group of people to fit in with, even if they were against the grain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just trying to find some place to fit in. I wanted that connection or that feeling of belonging. Never could find it. I was like, oh, well, I joined the BBYO, the B'nai B'rith Youth Organization. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll fit in here. And it's just like a weird kind of like one of those like, I don't want to say it's Zionist. I don't know that for sure. But like, it was definitely one of those like weird, like Jewish eugenics programs where we're like, we're going to try to put these kids together so they get married and make more Jews.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say that then. I couldn't understand that then. I can only understand that as an adult now, but like, it certainly felt weird. And it definitely like, I was a good kid and, you know, there would be these like, there was like a convention every couple months and you would go to a different city in Pennsylvania, in Eastern Pennsylvania for this convention. They would have different themes, but then at night there were like parties that I guess were sanctioned by the adults. And I'm just like, this is not fun to me. First of all, like I would hang out with my friends and we would just goof around and make jokes and like do fun things. I mean, I guess driving around and I mean, this dates me totally, but like hang out in the Blockbuster parking lot, that kind of stuff. Right. And these kids are like into like getting drunk and like hooking up. And I just felt so strange being in this stuff. And it was more, I wanted to belong, tried to belong, and ended up feeling more alienated.
I think I experienced that too. And I wonder if you ask anybody, like, it's hard to imagine knowing some of the people that I knew then, because they're all like a lot of people that I knew then are still friends with each other. But I wonder if you ask anybody of a certain age, like they would maybe describe this exact feeling, like wanting to belong and feeling like maybe they were trying it at the time in some way and it wasn't working, and then maybe they found their people later.
But yeah, do you think even the people who like grew up to like live a normal life, no shade, I just mean like you know, they have kids, they have a spouse, they have a normal job, they're not constantly you know pitching a show, trying to sell a show so you know what you're doing for your next year, or you know, like I live a weird life. I think some of the disconnect between me and my parents is definitely like they have no understanding. It's a little easier with my wife because she's an actor, and so they can see her on TV or something like that, right? And then there's like, what do you do to me? And there's not, but I think about that. I'm like, do the people that I went to temple with that have a normal life, did they feel alienated like I did, or were they just like, yeah, this is cool, and now this thing I'm doing is cool? I
think about that sometimes too. It's probably a mix, right? I bet there's people who probably never even thought that and don't think about it now. And then there are more people than you or I might think that they were feeling that way, or maybe they even still are. And it's hard to know if they are because of how they present to the world, like on social media, you know, like it might look like they're, you know, content and living this like normal life, but maybe they're facing like similar pressures and they just that we don't have, that we're not privy to.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, the number of people that I know are miserable that do not look miserable on Instagram, you know, it's yes, I get it. So, okay. So you said your dad's a musician professionally, or he just, you know, enjoys playing the piano around the house or whatever?
Not professionally. I think he definitely could have done that if he wanted to. He long time pianist, really, really gifted pianist. Hasn't played in a long time. We haven't had a piano at my childhood home in a while, but he's picked up other things over time, just casually. He's doesn't have a lot of free time, but when he does, he's like tried to learn like dobro and clawhammer banjo. Like that's been something he's been really interested in, but piano was always his main instrument, and he's got just kind of like a musician brain, I would say.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know if you can say this or if you know, but like you said he could have. Did he want to? Did he try? Or was there never an attempt? Or did he not even want to, maybe?
I I have my thoughts on it, honestly. I don't know if he'll hear this or not. I don't know if I'll share this with him or not. I probably won't speak on his behalf because I actually think that's probably a pretty personal and like maybe painful topic. I think if you're someone who like has the dream and you have the flame in you, regardless of what happened, like if you're not doing it now, it's I think it's a pretty personal and like painful topic and like so I probably will like out of respect for him not
Sure.
go too into it, but I will say that I think he had the talent to if the stars had aligned, like he could have done it professionally.
I
But
I asked that only because not to like try to get his story, but to see if like you ever picked up on anything when you were a kid, even I don't mean like him saying stuff necessarily, but like non-verbally.
that he wanted to do it. He's kind of I mean, we're very close, but for some things he's pretty reserved. So I don't think that I got that story when I was younger. I think as an adult and because he knows that I'm someone who's trying to in whatever way like be a musician professionally, whatever that means now and in a especially in like a indie rock band as opposed to he probably could have been like a pianist, which is like a classical pianist, different different scene. I think we can talk about it a little more openly now as an adult, but no, as a kid, I think I just thought like he's good at piano, and it's nice to hear it. And I didn't really, I couldn't wrap my head around like that you could be a professional anything that involving music.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes when I talk to people, there's like a palpable feeling of regret that they can get from their parents when they're, and this kind of like, it just hangs there. Maybe not articulated, but it's like there that kind of nudges them in the direction of like, well, I don't want to feel that. I mean, this is, I can't say what my parents really, I think they did stuff. I think they had different priorities in some way, right? My dad wanted a family, and that was more important than maybe a job that was fulfilling. And he eventually did. He eventually went back to school and did the thing he wanted to do. But and my mom was, before she retired, was an English teacher, and she loved that. And she likes poetry, and she loves teaching Shakespeare and all that kind of stuff. But like you get a feeling like they're from New York. So I don't think they want to settle in Pennsylvania. They settled in Pennsylvania for family reasons, like things like that, where there's like a little bit of disquiet. It's not overt. It's not in your face, but there is a little bit of disquiet, and it's motivating the emotions in the household. And so like you kind of shy away from that. I think it's very much, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I know what you mean, and I think in hindsight, it's easier to say, "Oh, maybe there was that," and
Sure.
I, in, especially thinking about, my dad like playing piano around the house, but at the time, it's like for me at least, it sounds like maybe slightly different than your experience. I don't know if I did pick up on that at that time. Because it was like, I was like, everyone's doing what they like, everyone's happy and fulfilled. And then you talk to your parents as adults, and they're like, no, I had dreams and I existed before you. And, like, you don't always check every box. And, like, what your boxes are change
Yeah.
as you grow, too.
Yeah. What do they do for a living then?
My dad is a journalist. And my mom has done things in like editing and in like ed tech and writing for like writing stories and editing for like technology for kids to learn how to read. And she's done like various other jobs that are impressive that sometimes the titles elude me. They're very successful. They're very hardworking, and they like could retire and they won't because they have the working bug.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, those both sound like very fulfilling professions.
I think in a lot of ways, yeah, stressful too, but like I don't know if like and this is like a bigger question, can a job do this? I don't know if it's fulfilling in the sense that it gets at the core of who they are, and it's how they would prefer to spend their time if money wasn't an issue, and if taking care of family wasn't an issue. I think you can be fulfilled in a job, and it isn't necessarily like your your calling or what, or your, you know, ignites that flame in you. Like I don't think it has to be like the thing, but could my dad have been? It's funny because now that you mentioned talking about that, he actually was talking to me about this recently because he came to visit. My parents came to visit me, and we were walking through DePaul's campus in Chicago, and they have a beautiful modern music school, and we were like looking at it, and he's like, yeah, sometimes he actually did use the word regret. I guess I could say that because he said it recently. He's like, yeah, I regret that I didn't do it. But then my mom was like, but then if you hadn't done every other decision that you made led to us meeting and then me being here standing with them. So he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, if you like enjoy your life where you are, right? You don't like, I think my parents enjoyed their life
Yeah.
where they were when I was a kid. I mean, I think they enjoy it more now that they are empty nesters and can do what they want.
True.
But I think they enjoyed it then, so that it's not like the regret was just gnawing at them.
Right.
I don't even know if they really had it. I know that I like shied away from certain things when I was younger, unable to like say why. Just, I don't like the suburbs. I don't think I want like a normal job. I like staying up late at night. What can I, again, not putting the pieces together of like, I feel alive when I'm writing something. Why do I feel alive then? Well, I guess I'll just feel alive, for half an hour a day. And I get, when it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm about to go to bed, and I can write a little something then, I guess. And then the rest of the day I'll feel dead. I guess that's what my life will be. Again, this is not exactly how I thought then, but I didn't think you could feel alive all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, now, sure.
That's cool.
Like, I mean, it's 11:30 at night. I'm like trying to settle down so I can actually sleep for a couple hours before I'll wake up in the middle of the night and watch anime for an hour. I got to take the dog out. Like, it's not like every moment is just bursting with joy and, especially in the 21st century, right? But married to someone I deeply love, I have a pet, I have friends, I make things that I think are helpful in some way to people.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
It kind of sounds like you cracked it. It's like no one's gonna feel it all the time. If you do that, that's a different problem. If you can like go to bed at night and feel like most days that you felt that way, I feel like that's a win. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It'd be nice to travel a little more, but
you can't win it all. You gotta have something to aspire for. You gotta have something to keep working for.
So I guess the thing is, it's just like, even if your parent, like, even if it's there, it's just like, it's maybe just like a kernel or a little something, a little like what if, as opposed to like, it seems like even if the job wasn't exactly what they wanted, there was still something. Like, if I had never left grad school, I think I would have enjoyed being a philosophy professor forever, right? Just nice perks. You get sabbaticals, it's probably free soda in the department refrigerator. The regret from living a fulfilling life with a what if in your brain is a different regret from I never tried it at all.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think about that all the time.
Can I ask?
And you're like, talk about that.
Yes. No. Yeah. Because that interests me.
Well, I think about that with trying to do the band. Weird sentence, but like, I feel like sometimes there's like the path in front of me of like, okay, really actually go for it, whatever that means. Quit the 9 to 5, like go on the road. Gail and I are gonna get married next year. Like, get married, but like, don't, pause on the family. Like, let's like really go for it, capital. And then if you really make the best effort and it doesn't ever break through, and that's a whole other conversation. What does that mean? Are you not broken through compared to your peers, whatever. If you really, really go for it and like it doesn't break through, okay, then you at least tried. And I think I could be okay with that. Then the other path is like it's also okay to like be where you are now and like maybe you do want to have a job and have kids and like that's also okay, question mark. That one I've been struggling with more because I feel like if I'm okay with that, that I'm like I don't I have my whole identity is built around being in a band and being a musician and wanting to do this thing. Like if I say the other path is okay, then like who who am I really? So I think about the what if problem a
Yeah.
lot, but I feel like it fluctuates. Like I don't always feel like I know what the answer is either.
Yeah. I don't think anyone ever does. You just are forced by reality to make a choice in a context where a choice needs to be made.
Yeah.
And otherwise
Yeah.
it's just like a miasma that you're kind of floating through.
Which I don't, yeah, that feeling is not a good one. So, but it's kind of goes back to what we were talking about before. Like, am I going to have to wait until something makes the decision for me, or can I tomorrow take an action and propel us into some new reality? Probably not. Because I talking about being cautious too. I don't know if like I think it would take something like really crazy for me to say like, okay, well, I'm quitting and going on the road, leaving the cat behind, leaving, like not taking the salary, the insurance anymore. Like, let's do it. Like, there might be a way to do both, but yeah, the cautious part of me is like, I don't know. I'm happy right now. So, does anything really need to change? To break through, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's the thing I've learned, I think, from the last 15 years is that it's mostly luck. That anyone who's like that I know who's like actually famous now, just luck. There's two actually ways. One is you come from a lot of money and so you hire a publicist and that kind of injects you into the conversation before maybe your own work would put you there. And I won't name anyone, but like there's other people like Io who we knew from comedy. The Bear just happened to hit. She's great, but it was, if the Bear didn't hit, she would not be where she is.
That's true.
Right. And that's just luck, regardless of how talented she is.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
That's a good point.
So I think that's the thing that I've learned. We're just like, it's just luck. You just do what you can. You make something that's meaningful to you. I mean, your new album's great. Like, it's just great. Like,
Thank you.
From song 1 to song 11, whatever. Like,
I appreciate that. That's the advice that everyone gives that I do think is true. I think there's a reason that everyone keeps saying that. It's like you have to do it because it means something to you and not because you are aspiring to some end goal of X amount of, I don't know, tickets sold or, whatever the metric is for being a successful band in 2025, 2026. Like, if you're doing it for those things, it's like fucking miserable. If you do it because it's meaningful to you, you always have something. And I have to remind myself of that fairly often because of just comparison. Like these people I know who are friends, they're at this level, and these people are at this level. This band is at this level. How do I get there? And then Gellin reminds me, comparison is the thief of joy, which it is. And if you do it because it's meaningful, the part that's actually the most fun is making it. And that's close to that sort of spiritual experience we were talking about before.
yeah, yes, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? Sorry, I'm even going to say like the publicist thing is luck. Because I also know people who, I remember a friend of mine was telling me this, that he like did a thing with a publicist for a couple months and he just got put on like red carpets. That was the extent of it.
That sounds cool.
It is. It's fun for a little while. And then you're just like, you just start criticizing the way you look. Like, I mean, when I'm on my wife's arm at one of these things And I'm just like, oh God, I look terrible in this photo.
Do you get to dress up and like put on a cool outfit? That's still kind of fun. It's still an experience.
Yeah, yeah, but like you can't control anything else. You can't control. So even like the thing that like has been driving me nuts is when I was a teenager, the idea of selling out was like the worst fucking thing you could do.
Hmm.
And now it's just normal. It's about fame and about notoriety, and whether the thing you make is good or not, or whether it's meaningful or not, that's like secondary. Like if it is great, I guess, but like the fame part is the most important thing. And like that stuff leaves you empty. It really does. You just, and maybe if someone is a psychopath, they can live with that.
Mm.
But I think for most people, I mean, I think psychopaths are like a small percentage of the population.
I think most people who have a drive to create, yeah, they need that piece of it. Even if the fame or the whatever accolades come, if you aren't actually happy with what you've made, then that's pretty. It kind of like gnaws at you. And like I've had moments where I felt like something I've put out isn't my best thing that I could have done, or like that it's not an
Yeah,
accurate representation. That
I
really
get it.
that sucks.
Yeah. There's also like,
Yeah.
again, this is sometimes you're just like, well, I don't know what else to do with this. Whatever. It's a song. It's a sketch. It's a video. Whatever it is. Like, I don't know what else to do with this. I guess this is just done.
Yes, I have had that feeling. I'm trying to be better about that feeling though. And like what I'm hoping happens for the next batch of songs and the next record is that I can move past that feeling and stop and say, okay, I'm having that feeling. I need to put this down and then come back to it. And if I don't like it, if I don't like listening to it, I'm not just gonna put it on a record to have it be a song on a record. Like I would like
Yeah.
to sit and listen. Not to say that I don't do this now, maybe sometimes, but I'd like to sit and listen to a full something that I and the band have made and like be like, I really enjoy that as a listener. And I want to experience that again.
Yeah. That's why I'm making things. I'm making things that I don't think exist in the world that I enjoy or should enjoy or would enjoy or whatever. And that's why I'm doing it. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't, what's the point? But yeah, I think the contradiction comes in from, making art within the capitalist mode of production, where
Well, yeah.
there's a thing in my head where I'm just like, well, you have to keep producing, you have to keep making a thing, even if
Yep.
it's like, yeah, it's kind of a B song, so maybe I won't put it out. Maybe it's B plus at best. Maybe it doesn't have to. You have to write a ton of songs for a bunch of them to be like good enough to put on an album or an EP or something like that. And then there's just stuff that you don't do anything with, maybe.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of files on my computer that are just like called like April 9th, 24, LOL, like, and it's like, sucks. And yeah. A lot of
Yeah.
that.
All right. Okay, we're at the end. I just want to sew some of this stuff up because I just want to know like
Sure.
I always like to figure out the existential pathway that someone
Mhm.
takes. Because you grow up and seeing parents, I guess they work very hard, maybe not doing the exact thing they want to do, but definitely like living a good life, living a life they enjoy. You said you were a choir at school, I assume. I assume there wasn't a weird Christian choir at your temple.
Which would have been funny. Yeah, school, choir. There's a theater kid element here we haven't even touched.
Please. What's going on? So I'm old enough that like the theater kids in my high school were still doing like 1950s, 1960s stuff, like Guys and Dolls and
Oh, we did Guys
Brigadoon.
and we did Guys and Dolls.
Is that still going on? Weren't there like more modern stuff by the time you got to the aughts?
It was kind of like just at the sort of the transitional period, I think, where there were like revivals happening of all the like old ones. And we did like two of those in my school. And then we did one more contemporary one. And then we did Once on This Island, which was such a disaster. You should not put that up with a cast of white teens.
Wait, what is it?
It's called Once on This Island. It's about like Yeah, you can already tell from the title. It was not intended for white children to be
Who
in that play.
who chose that?
I think my whoever was directing it, because it's like I think that she had good intentions. It's a good show. It's fun. They also, I think, I don't know if this is a thing in your school too, but like they had to pick shows where like there were not that many male leads because like there weren't that many. Like each year that I was in the doing theater at school, there were like fewer and fewer guys that wanted to do it, so they had to pick shows that had like more female leads.
Really? Even though I can understand that maybe in some place in, I don't know, Arkansas, whatever, right? But like the proximity to New York, where, oh, this could actually be a real thing if I wanted it to be, seems
true.
like it might motivate more people.
There were definitely more than probably other places, and it was a very well funded department, so we had a lot of resources. But I think maybe just by a coincidence, it happened to be that there were, I think that like the first year when I was like a freshman, there was a lot, and it was in my mind, I remember that being like a really good show. It was guys and I think it was guys and dolls. Yeah, it was fun. It was Sit Down, You Rock in the Boat. Good classic tunes.
Luck be a lady tonight from that.
Nice it is. Luck be a lady tonight. Good on you.
I wasn't into musicals until Buffy the musical.
I didn't even know about that. I would say I'm a reformed theater kid, so if anything is like new and happening in that realm, I'm not like, is that new? I don't even know. Is that new?
Oh no, it's from season 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay, my apologies. I'm not in the loop on that.
Except for being like vaguely in entertainment, Broadway, even when I was in New York, it was so far away. I mean, now I know it's weird. I know people who are like in theater, like actually in stuff. So
It's a big world. And talking about trying to fit in, that is the group that I tried to fit in with. So I hope that gives you some context about, and that didn't go particularly well because I also was trying to be scene kid rocker. So like a lot of things were at odds.
yeah, I wonder if let's pretend like the people that fit in felt good fitting in. Do you think it's because they didn't feel pulled in different directions?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe maybe they didn't, and then that was enough to feel assured. I'm thinking about the people who I think, quote unquote, fit in where I grew up. I think that it was more of like an emotional thing and less of a, like the things that you did. I think that the theater kids, and this is probably true in most schools, like probably considered kind of like loud and out there and like not fitting like the maybe social norms. And I think that like a lot of the kids who fit in were like, I'm not gonna make a scene in this situation. It wasn't necessarily about being pulled, and like I think a lot of those kids were athletic, but not all of them, or they were really smart and wanted to do well in school, but not all of them were either. Yeah, it was more of a personality thing maybe than a career or hobby thing.
Yeah. I mean, what was going on with you? Because you said you like wanted to be a scene kid or were a scene kid or you kind of there, like part way there.
Yeah, partly way there.
Did you fit in there? Like
No.
going to see, like, what are you seeing local shows? Are you seeing basement shows? Like what's going on in Huntington?
I started seeing more shows when I got to high school, and it wasn't like I'm trying to think if I would say fit in or not. I didn't really feel either way. I do remember feeling a very strong going to like very terrible shows where people were like, I remember one, this guy was doing like a Brain Stew cover, and I had this thought that was like, well, I could probably do that. like maybe better than this. And that was like the spark of like, oh, maybe I could like get up and perform and I just thought being in it, but you know, at the time I still thought it was the coolest shit ever. It was like being in a band that was always the thing. Even beyond, you know, trying to do theater, trying to be a scene kid. I didn't even really like scene music. I just wanted to be like the like Tumblr aesthetic with the hair and like the it was mostly the hair. And my hair just didn't do that.
Wait, I mean, I know Tumblr, but like,
You know, like it would be like side bang from like here and it would be like really poofy. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really, but I'm imagining like a swoop, like kind of like a swoop bang type thing.
Yeah, it would be like swoop bang from here, and it was like it would like cover half your eye,
Uh
and I
uh-huh.
tried that, and then you would like tease the hair up, so it was kind of like a dome, and
Uh-huh.
it I tried, I just I didn't have the hair for it, and so yeah, that looks pretty bad. I don't really know what drew me. I think I also associated that aesthetic and that scene with like I don't know, something that was like romantic or like emotionally wrought, and I was like, I want that. I want to feel something like that. I want to have like an emo boyfriend, and that's very important to me at that time. So yeah,
Okay, then at what point does it go from I want to actual action?
for me, the going from the I want to be in the band, I want to be writing songs. I tried it once in high school. I wrote a song. I used the MacBook microphone to record a guitar. It was really bad, and I put it on SoundCloud, and I but it was terrible, but it was like, it's the first I wrote a song and put it on SoundCloud. That's cool. And then I remember like someone that I considered to be like the cool popular person at school. I put it on Facebook, and then they liked it, and it was like an ironic like, and
Wow.
I immediately deleted it. I was like, well, whatever, fuck this. When I got to college, and I finally felt like it felt like a clean slate where obviously a lot of people feel this way when they go to college. No one knows who you are, so you get to sort of redefine yourself. And I found friends and people who I enjoyed being around. They enjoyed being around me. There was a really fun DIY music scene happening where I went to school. There were like basement shows. I started going to open mics with original music, and it was terrifying and really bad at first. But that was the thing. It was like finally feeling comfortable around people to give it a tr to be able to be bad in front of people and know it would be okay. Is that was the moment where I was able to start getting to where I am now, where I perform in front of people and I feel confident about being a musician, and also that I know that I will get better too, and that it's okay to not ever be your
Yeah.
best in this moment.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that's such a common story, not that specifically, but the idea of like having something else, like fitting in somewhere else in your life, and then being able to draw the confidence, almost like you're siphoning off the confidence from that. Now that you've got that in one facet of your life, now you can siphon it off like you are taking gas out of a gas tank in a zombie film into the little red gas thing.
I get No, I got you. No. And I was like, yeah, it is like that.
And then that lets you build once you have that confidence, then you can do the thing you want to do creatively.
It's like knowing once you're okay with failing and you know it's okay and that the world doesn't end. Also, it's kind of a lesson in just like the world doesn't revolve around you. So if you fail, learning that, like, if you fail, it's like the world's not gonna stop. So that's a comfort too. And that took me a little time to learn. But I think
Yeah.
it takes, like you said, it takes most people until they try it a couple times, and also, yeah, until they have that confidence in another area of their life, they feel supported, they feel like they have a friend group, they feel like they have a supportive network of some kind, then you can really actually try it for real.
Yeah.
You kind of have to fail. You can't just be good. Who's just good right away? I don't know if I can think of anybody who is like, yeah, I always had it, always will. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
There's some. I hate them. I hate them all.
Even Jordan, they were panning him in Michael Jordan. They were panning
Right, you're in
just in case.
Chicago. You're in Chicago.
Yeah, big basketball fan. But they panned him. They were in high school. They were like, he's average, and then they were like, oh, he's the GOAT. You ever watch The Last Dance, the basketball documentary?
No.
Oh, it's so good. You should watch that. I think you would like it. It's on Netflix, I think. It's like the story of the '90s Chicago Bulls.
Oh.
It's very good.
I was front and center for that.
But you weren't in Chicago, were you?
No.
Okay.
No, I was in Pennsylvania.
Damn.
I just meant like that. Basketball in the 90s, basketball was like, even me who was a small indoor kid was playing basketball every afternoon with my friends. Like that's how omnipresent it was in the 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to watch because that feeling is so palpable when you watch it. It's very good. It's also just a really good. It's like one of the best sports documentaries I've ever seen. The archival footage is like insane.
I'll check it out. Jen, thank you so much for joining me. This was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, nice chatting with you.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, oh, 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 bye.